What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 news in the form of This Week at Bungie. And so, naturally with Vault of Glass launching this weekend, they do speak a little bit about the world first race, some of the things worth knowing on that front. They are going to be disabling the Star Eater scales for the first 24 hours of Vault of Glass being live. They explain why that is, and then they talk about a bunch of associated Bungie rewards for the raid. And so we'll cover all of that stuff, but also they're going to be running a beta for Crossplay later on this month. And this will be an intentional test version of Crossplay, so we'll speak about how you can get involved with that, as well as a unique reward. But also they've got a hotfix dropping in the game next Tuesday, and it looks like it's going to have some useful fixes for Pinnacle gear. So we're going to round all of that stuff up, as well as a couple of additional things inside of the video, guys. As always, I hope you do enjoy this one, but without further delay, let's get into it. Initially, before we talk about the TWAB stuff, when setting expectations for the weekly update, DMG said that we know you're hungry for some commentary from the team on things like armor synthesis, stasis, and more. We're actively watching the conversation and consuming feedback, and once we have more info, we'll be happy to share it with you. So some acknowledgement of some of the feedback surrounding armor synthesis, which is something Bungie haven't really spoken about since the launch of the season, but also stasis and a lot of feedback about PvP. So give us your thoughts about all of those items. But next, moving into the TWAB, they do talk about the world first race and some Bungie rewards, which we'll touch on in a couple of moments. They also give a help article covering all of the nitty-gritty details, so that'll be linked with the TWAB down below. But an important thing to note, they say that the Hunter exotic, the Star Eater scales, will be disabled for the first 24 hours of Vault of Glass being live, and the team has discovered an issue where some abilities were being granted a bit more damage than intended. We don't want hunters to take this race like they did the Guardian games, so we'll be putting this exotic on a short timeout, plan ahead, and make sure you have another pair of pants infused to appropriate power levels before heading into the raid. And so a pretty interesting one right there. A lot of players have been talking about the fact that that's going to be a very useful exotic to have on the team at least a couple of times. But for anyone who's jumping in on a hunter, definitely worth bearing in mind that's going to be disabled. And even if you're not jumping into VOG, if you're not able to equip that one between Saturday and Sunday, just bear in mind that's why it is, and it will be re-enabled once the vault has been completed and the 24-hour period has passed. We will talk a little bit more about the rewards and things like that in a moment, but speak about some other interesting things. They say in the early hours of Season of the Splicer, a few of us got our first unfiltered taste of crossplay, and even though this was caused by a bug, we saw players mingling between platforms, which was awesome. Since disabled that, but they say, while our current goal is for crossplay to ship in Season 15, we have a list of things to do before it's ready, one of which is a beta version starting early next week. So they say we're formally invited to the Destiny 2 crossplay beta. This will serve as a short, sweet, and important moment in the development of the feature. And from May 25th through May 27th, a unique Vanguard Strikes crossplay beta playlist will be available to all players of Destiny 2. You'll be match-made with Guardians playing on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and Stadia, and as you fight through the enemy waves of darkness, our teams will be scouring data and performing a multitude of actions to test the integrity of the upcoming cross-play system. So that's a pretty interesting one. I'm not sure we'll be able to actually play immediately with people on our friends list and stuff like that because it is a match-made playlist, but nonetheless, especially if that cross-play feature is going to be useful for you, it's an easy way to kind of contribute and help Bungie test that system, so something to look out for as of next week's reset. But they also say, as a token of our appreciation for your time, any players who complete 3 strikes in the Vanguard Strikes crossplay beta playlist, that's a mouthful, will be awarded with the unique Stars Crossed emblem. And so let us know your thoughts about that down below, and whether you're excited to play with your friends on other platforms once crossplay goes live in Season 15. Before we talk about VOG stuff right here, we are going to get a hotfix next Tuesday on May 25th. This will be hotfix 5.2.02. And they say for a sample of the list of issues being addressed, completing 8 bounties for the Splicer Servitor Weekly Challenge will correctly award Pinnacle gear. So that's going to be useful, but also Energy Accelerant no longer increases damage against players, but additionally, it no longer increases the base damage of Symmetry, Telesto, Black Talon, and Deathbringer. They're going to be fixing an issue where the exotic catalyst for Cryesthesia 77k was incorrectly accruing progress through energy slot weapon kills. But also, the Presage activity will now reward Pinnacle gear as intended. So, on top of the fact that VOG will be in the game, it looks like we will get at least a couple of additional Pinnacle source fixes right there. So something else that will So something else that's useful, and we'll be seeing that on Tuesday 25th. But to talk about Vault of Glass and some of the associated rewards for this week, initially with the return of the Vex Mythoclast, in the database we can simply see the weapon. No data related to a quest for the item has been found, and that makes sense considering the Vex Mythoclast was simply a drop from Atheon in Destiny 1's Vault of Glass. And so that does seem likely, but also Today in Destiny does list the sale of the ornament for the Vex Mythoclast next week. And there's been speculation as to whether Vex would drop from the normal mode of Vault of Glass, or whether it could be something that comes a little bit later on, but based on the ornament showing up on the list for next week, of course it clarifies the likelihood the Vex Mythoclast will be available as of this weekend. But it just depends if you're going to be lucky enough to get that drop. In terms of the launch for the raid, it'll arrive at the daily reset time, which is 10 AM Pacific and 6 PM here in the UK on Saturday 22nd of May. It's going to be launching with contest mode enabled for 24 hours, so we'll need to be at 1300 power to be at the cap for all encounters. Then of course, clearing Vault of Glass with contest mode is the first step to access the new challenge mode and a triumph called Tempo's Edge. And completing Tempo's Edge, which is actually a separate list of encounter triumphs, will actually be how the race for World's First takes place. So the first team to complete that challenge mode with the completion of all the triumphs will be recognized as the World First team this time around. And so as always, we do have the raid belt for that team, but then some of the additional Bungie rewards that they're speaking about include the Vault of Glass raid jacket, and this needs to be earned by June 1st by completing the Vault of Glass by its second reset, so we pretty much get a week and 3 days in order to earn that and be eligible. Another item we'll be able to access by completing VOG by the second reset is the Vault of Glass raid ring, and I'll link the Bungie rewards page down below that have the store links so you can look at all of these items in more depth, but there's going to be the exclusive Vault of Glass art print, which is eligible for purchase as long as you complete the raid during Season of the Splicer. And then they're going to have an exclusive medallion pin for the Vault of Glass seal, so if you earn the title by the 30th of December this year, you'll be eligible to make a purchase of that pin. So those are the kind of Bungie rewards, but as we've spoken about, there is going to be a Throne of Atheon emote bundle that appears at Eververse following a completion, and you can purchase the Throne of Atheon bundle to receive the exotic emote along with 1100 silver. And of course the inclusion of particular VOG items, like the additional 2 shaders for Vault of Glass inside of the Eververse store, is certainly something that has got players talking, so feel free to give us any of your thoughts about that down below. And otherwise, if you want to check out more of the rewards, the loot table, hidden challenges, chests and more for Vault of Glass when it returns, I do have a full preview video with essentially everything that we know, which I'll link in the description, so you can check that out if you like. But otherwise, give us all of your thoughts on the stuff that Bungie have showed us for that raid release today. The final thing to mention is that DMG did recognize that the team is digging on the iron banner drops that have been missing, so of course the shotgun and machine gun haven't been dropping as they should inside of this first event for the season, and the goal is to get them both into the vendor and bounty pools by the next iron banner. So unfortunately for the rest of this iron banner, there won't be any additional drops of those weapons outside of the main quest for the banner, which can be done once on all 3 characters, so there is at least a small opportunity to get some decent rolls right there. And for today guys, that is everything that we have to speak about in this particular video, so as always I hope it has been useful, and if it has, a rating down below very much helps us out on the channel. Feel free to get subscribed and turn on notifications so I can keep you posted with the world of Destiny 2, but otherwise for now, as always, I very much appreciate you all tuning in, and I hope you have an awesome day.